All right. Hi, everyone. This is Vinay Raman with the Business Blind Spots Exposed podcast. We're here with another brand new episode. And gosh, I get a chance every now and then to talk to the speakers a little bit in advance or prior meetings, and I just get really charged up and excited about the topic. And I think today we've got a really interesting topic to talk about, and a special guest, Adam. Let me tell you a little bit about the Business Blind Spots Exposed podcast. I'll just call it Blind Spots, much shorter. The Blind Spots podcast is about this idea that it started out from a personal place. I didn't know when I was being effective and when I was being effective. I didn't know what ineffective and effective were. I used to think of things as good and bad. Well, there's very few things that are just bad and very few things that are just good. And there's so many things that I'm not aware of. The Blind Spots podcast is about me increasing my own vision, starting to see the narrative, seeing the experiences and perspectives from other people's eyes. What are the things that I'm not effective at? What are the things that I am effective at? I learn more about myself through others' eyes. Hopefully, this is an opportunity for you to start to see through these same people's eyes some things that you may not be able to see and can grow from. So let me tell you about some of the speakers that I've got coming up in the coming weeks. On June 22nd, I've got Rocky Lalvani. He's going to come and talk to us about the numbers behind why you should think profit first. There's a book by Michael Michalowicz that he spends a lot of time teaching from as a framework. I think you'll get a lot of value out of listening to Rocky. Fabulous guy. On June 17th, I've got Jerry McCormick. He's going to talk to us about a culture of safety and the data behind safety. So many people pay lip service to safety, but safety is not just this idea where you say, hey, I got a sticker on the wall and that's safe. It's much deeper than that. There's empathy in safety. And I think Jerry's going to help us understand a little bit more about that deeper level of thought. On June 15th, I've got Sarah Davis punching through the business glass ceiling. Gosh, that seems like that could be a 15 conversations right there. Glass ceilings exist all over the place, and sometimes we just can't see them. Sarah's going to spend a little bit of time talking to us and educating us about her perspectives on the glass ceilings that exist within business. And today I've got Adam Seymour, feelings that lead to a better bottom line. Gosh, what a fantastic topic. I will tell you, 20 years ago, if you had asked me about the topic of feelings, I would have been, what a waste of my time. This is business. You don't need feelings. Fast forward to 20 years to today, gosh, feelings make all the difference in the world. How I validate the people that I work with, I partner with, who work for me, the people I work for, makes all the difference in the world. And I want to tell you a little bit about Adam in a second here. I do want to tell you we've got two sponsors. Corralling Chaos, which is a culture management company. As being a sponsor, they have a free offer. Anybody who chimes in on the chats or the comments will get the offer of a free culture assessment for their organization. Gerald, who runs that organization, is more than happy to help you understand how aligned your culture is. And then Karma, who does data assessments to show you the alignment within your organization. So there's a data-based analytical approach to see, is your organization running as effectively as it can? So let's get to Adam. So he's got a book that he published. So he's the author of Beyond Our Feelings, and he's also a research assistant pursuing his PhD right now. He's with ICN Business School. Labels his industry as entrepreneurship, which I find interesting, and I want to ask you a little more about that. So a little bit more that I gathered about Adam throughout the course of our research. Social science researcher with 5 years experience in academia, skilled in healthcare qualitative data analysis and study design, the author of the book, Discovering How, and it's all about discovering how our feelings, thoughts, and emotions work within awareness. So there's a lot to unpack just within that one statement alone. Learn to discharge your negative emotions and replace them with healthy ones. Because I think so many people think, oh, I got to be happy all the time. That's not quite it. It's one level higher than that. And I'd like to get into that with Adam as well. Identifying the most likely ways you've given your power away, regaining access to our most evolved, unique human qualities. There's a statement he made here. It says, once we set our intention to understand awareness from within, then the world becomes exciting, one of opportunity and growth, a place where one is glad to be alive. Whew. Lots of really good conversation to start there with, because I think this whole idea of consciousness awareness has started to pervade culture. There's a lot more chatter about it. But what does it all mean? Now, one last thing. People are maybe listening in from the various platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. If you please just chime in, tell us where you're connecting from. Would love to hear from you. I'm sure Adam and I would, our conversation will be enriched by your questions. Adam, how are you doing today?
How you doing, Vinay? I'm doing
I'm
great. Thank you
doing
so much. Thank you so much for having me on your brilliant podcast,
well.
Business
Thank you.
Blind Spot Exposed.
I'm uh, I'm
Great.
I'm I'm excited about it. So feelings. So let's start there. Just feelings. It's such a squishy term, right? In the business world, 20 years ago. I mean, I feel like I was the stereotypical kind of person in that regard. 20 years ago, feelings. There was no place in the workplace. That has changed. Why do you think that word, the sentiment of feelings, comes up so much more these days than it did 20 years ago? Why do you think that is?
Because we're starting noticing one thing: the capacity for reason. We can see that can be completely destroyed in an instant by uncontrollable burst of emotion.
So I'm always trying to make notes here and capture what I think are my blind spots every time I learn something. So my first one is the reason emotion is coming to the forefront is because the capacity for reason to go out the door, it is the emotion that's driving those things. That what you would have thought were logic is completely false, and it's the emotion that blows those things out
when
of the door.
when when we have uncontrollable emotions, we're losing that capacity for reason, for logic. We
Mm,
don't see what's going on. We can make an argument,
mm.
right? So we can be empathetic towards ourselves and towards people, you know.
So let me take that one step further. So I know personally, my spouse and I, there have been times where we've disagreed on things. It happens from time to time,
Sure, sure.
and the next 30 minutes, the next hour, whatever time, that's still processing in my body, right? Those emotions are pent up. Those emotions are loaded up, right? They're at a fever pitch for whatever it is. It could be with the kids. It could be my wife. It could be a neighbor. But my decision making is impaired and I can't quantify it. I just know that it's off the mark, right?
Right. That's right. That's right. Spot
So
on.
it's simply the fact that people, the realization, and people have made space for the fact that when they're emotionally charged, their decision making is impacted, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. And we
So
should learn how to handle feelings skillfully. That leads to result.
okay, let's unpack that. Okay, so
Mhm.
you're basically saying, all right, we know first of all that people are impacted when they have deep seated emotions about a topic, right?
Yes.
Their decision making is impacted. That's not so good. I think that's the underlying assumption, right? But the
Yes.
next piece of that you're saying is, all right, you can manage that. I purposely didn't use the word control it, right? You can manage those feelings if you are aware of it. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Exactly. You can set aside those feelings. You
Talk
can
to me about that.
set aside in the feelings in the workplace, for example, disappointment, anger. We can do that. It's possible. We should learn how to do that, and it's in a second. You're all right. You can. It's not managing again. It's just handling the energy, because it's handling on its own. You just have to aware, like to your point, like you said before, you should be aware of it, that there is something. So let me break it down for you. So the feelings, they come from attitudes, beliefs, the values that we have, you know. So when you know those things, you know where it's coming from. You know, it's something that you're aware of right now. Are you aware of right now that this feelings coming from values, beliefs, and all that? You know that right now. So those feelings, those attitudes, they are all in mind. They're all in mind. So, and the mind is very powerful, very powerful. And it can hypnotize you with that attitude that you don't even have, for example, right? And yeah, but what we need to do, we need to be aware of it. Once you aware, once you notice where it comes from, now it's a half deal. Now it's a halfway to um, to release the rest of it. You know.
So let me back this up. And by the way, we have got Shofu who's chimed in. Says, "Great to be here, Shofu. I'm happy to have you here. I would love as we go through this conversation and as Adam unpacks some of his learnings, what he's put in this book, and as he teaches me so much. I'd love to hear what you have to say as well, Shofu. Thanks for joining us. So what I'm hearing is, all right. So we know it impacts our emotions. That's why emotions are coming to the forefront in discussion. We know that they're impacting the way we make decisions, but you can manage them, right? Not control them, manage them, because once the way you can control them, you have to become aware of them, right? And that's where
Yes.
we are. How do you become aware of it?
You you need to set it intention. Once you set intention, then you become aware of it. So the first is an intention. So that's the crucial thing uh, in handling these emotions, feelings, negativity. So you set intention. Now, all of a sudden, in an instant, you start seeing those things. It's not a magic. It's just how it works. It's just the mechanisms. It works like that. It's just the consciousness. The consciousness works like that. You set intention. Now it's all becoming different. All of a sudden you see different things. You start noticing, and I want to share one of those simple techniques. That's called decompression. A very simple technique, very much.
Okay.
So you should kind of see. You first of all, you stop putting constructions on the feelings. So you see feelings, you stop labeling, you stop you stop interpreting them, you stop saying that it's right and wrong. So what you need to do is just you get the feelingness out of it, not a sensation, but the feelingness. It's just an energy. So after that, you get the feelingness. You should stay with this feelingness. It will run out one way or the other. You will see it. It's a matter of time, but we don't know. I mean, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, but you should stay with the feelingness, okay? So, and it will run out, and you'll see that that's all. I'm calm right now. I'm all right. So instead of running around the mind and looking for answers, a logic and reason, you bypassing that mind, right? You're bypassing it. Just by but dropping all labels, constructions, and interpretations, and you start getting a feelingness out of it. Then and only then you should wait for, I don't know, a known amount of time, and then you'll see the result. Then again, um, following that, you will be more aware of your situation. of the event, because all you need to do is to handle the energy, because events will be handled on its own. It's not us handling the events. This is not like that. Take the fact. Fact is nothing. It's just fact. But how you react to the fact. So how are you with the feeling? That's what's most important, not the fact. Who cares about fact? Fact is the fact. It's nothing. It's just a label. See what I'm saying?
So I'm
But
going to.
again, to get out of it, and then you could see what's the fact and all that, and then you can react it unbiased. You can do that after that. But all I need from you is just forget about fact at first.
I'm going to give you a story that I think
Yes.
you tell me how this works, right? So I've got young kids, and one of them continues to he loves milk. He continues to put his glass of milk next to the corner of the table. He's smaller than I am, so his reach into the middle of the table is a lot less. It's always the glass of milk is always in the corner of the table, and time and again I say, "Don't leave it close to the end of the table. You'll knock it over." Right? All right. I told him again, and then he knocks the milk over, and the glass, we have stainless steel, uh, glass goes clattering to the floor. Milk is all over the floor, and gosh, emotions just erupt. And you right want to, like, how many times have I told? But then I stop. I say, all right, what's going on here? What do I actually want to happen? Do I want to yell at the kid because he dropped milk on the floor? Or is it that I just want him to realize, oops, I should put my glass towards the center of the table and I need to go clean up the milk that I just spilled on the floor? Right?
Yeah.
The fact is, it just was spilled on the floor, but he's not responding right away saying, oh, I just spilled milk on the floor. I got to get up out of my chair and go wipe it. That's really that's the modification of the behavior change that needed to occur. I know that's a simplistic example, but in the workplace, I gotta imagine that something similar to that happens all the time. An employee will make a mistake, and instead of erupting, saying, "Hey, I've told you 1,000 times," they didn't understand the context, right? They didn't understand that the outcome they were trying to reach to. Instead of yelling and letting that emotion rise up, you say, "Why did that happen again?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, I agree with you. I agree because it boils down to seeing this beforehand. So if you know, for example, that it's not the event again, but it's you. You were anxious beforehand. Now you're reacting
Mm-hmm.
to the kid, to the event that he spilled the milk,
Right.
and you don't want to, wipe these whole things, and why you did it, because you don't want it. You don't want to wipe it.
That's
That's
right.
the truth of it.
That's
But
right.
it's not because of him, you know. And the same thing in the workplace. Same thing.
That's right.
So we gotta be, realistic. We gotta be truthful about what we do. We gotta be real, We should love the truth about ourselves, to discover that inner, what's inside me. What is it bothering me? It's
That's right.
me, it's not him. And once you start releasing, you become more relaxed. Again, you start seeing the data that you want, the data, the facts. Okay, so you become seeing that this is all basically logical. It's all right. It should be like that. It's fine.
Well, the funny thing, and I think again this applies to a workplace. So in the case of my son, so now it's as soon as I say, "Hey, did you?" He doesn't let me finish the sentence. Right, the lesson has been learned. I don't have to say it 50 times. Come on, put your glass towards the center of the table. He's already learned the lesson himself. Right, he's taking the action. which actually that's the outcome I wanted from in at the outset, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. Wow.
You know, uh, as someone who focuses on so many companies that look at data to measure, I mean, everyone talks about KPIs these days, right? Measuring employees,
Yeah,
measuring
yeah.
employees. And I keep talking to them about this idea that maybe we should increase the level of conversation from KPIs to behaviors, right? Let's talk about these behaviors, because if we help people understand what those behaviors are, and we express to them how we're feeling, as they express in those KPIs, those individual performance. You drove too fast. Well, why does it matter? Because I don't want to pay a higher commercial vehicle insurance bill. That's actually what's driving it, right? I don't want you to get into an accident. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want to lose you as an employee. That's all behind. Don't drive fast. But
Yes.
if you can distill all that and bring those emotions out and say, inspect where it came from and say, so here's what I'm trying to tell you. Am I getting that right?
Yes, yes, that's right. Because you're taking care of life. That's your intention.
Hmm.
So imagine you hired that employee. You were asking not the interview questions, but the questions about human qualities that's coming, for example, from heart. That human qualities of courage. So you want to know: is he courageous? Is he great guy? Is he stingy? Or you want to know those things, because that will bring you a value, real value, coming from human qualities. Because all what's behind all products, what's behind the data that you have, the human qualities.
Yeah.
So you
So,
have to relate to humanness.
yeah. Shofu is asking us a question here. I think this is he's been chiming in. I appreciate that, Shofu. Let a spade be a spade, and that's when he was kind of talking about my kid being a kid, right? But he went on a little further. He said, "How can we deal with feelings in closing deals with clients in business? How in building a connection with someone? I mean, that's what you're trying to do in sales. People buy from people, right? That's what sales is all about. So how do the feelings play into that conversation, building that rapport?
We gotta be integrous first of all. This is all coming from integrity of our intention.
Hmm.
So once we integrate, then we wanna win-win, right? So that's how we can close any negotiation, any deal. So out of that, but again, you should live by those qualities. You should recognize it at first. Bare minimum, just recognize that's the line. That's how it works. That human qualities, that's operative. For example, for now, right now, you can notice that what kind of um, uh, the principle works right now on LinkedIn. For example, take LinkedIn. Look, kindness. So that principle operative right now. So if you're kind enough, that will open any door. Why? Because it's operative.
So let me distill a little bit of that, right? And kind of to Shofu's point, right? Uh, I find that when I'm talking with people, and I suspect in all lots of people in building relationships, business development, and sales, it's about developing that relationship and truly understanding. There's what people say, and there's what they actually feel. And if you have the ability to perceive how they're feeling about something, they're saying, "Yeah, I'm going to buy this thing," but you're getting something that's telling you that's not aligning with the way they're speaking. There's something there. And I think the key to what you're saying here, Adam, is being able to use that as a power to understand where they're coming from and saying, so maybe there's something I'm not seeing here, but I sense a little bit of resistance, or I see something. What am I not understanding? And trying to inspect it maybe alongside of them, as opposed to saying, "Hey, you don't want to do this deal," and kind of put is that what I'm hearing from you?
The thing is this: when you position yourself in a way, for example, when you position yourself in an integrous way, you become integrous, for example. All of a sudden, you said, I want to be integrous. I don't want to be corrupt. I want to be integrous. A minute you got that. The minute you got that, you start attracting those people.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And you don't need feelings after all, because they're gonna buy your integrity, not the feeling. You don't need feelings, you need integrity. If you're kind, they're gonna buy kindness. It's that simple. But again, you gotta know, if you go deeper, you gotta know what's operative. What is operative right now? You gotta figure out those things, in business. Yes.
I've always loved, enjoyed interactions with people. For example, somebody comes by to give me a quote to do some work on my house. For example, I pave my driveway, fix my car, whatever the case may be. And start asking them questions, and they say to me, that's not something I can do. I can do all this stuff. Let me connect you with someone else who will do that other piece. That's not something I do. They could very easily have come to me and said, I do that too, only to let me down later because they're not very good at it. When you lead forward in integrity like that, saying, that's just not my expertise, I don't do that, let me facilitate that. I will tell you, that same guy who has done that for me, I have referred him many, many times to other people, because I won't let that guy go. I won't let that quality go. And I think that's a little bit of what I'm hearing, right?
Yes, yes. That's the real power. Because we're all human, you know. All we need to do is to connect to humanness, not the other way around. So in consciousness, there's appearances, the luxury cars. That's all results. At the mansion, right, haircut. It's all appearances, and it's all results. So we're not chasing after result. We're not chasing nothing. We just need to position ourselves. We don't need to chase. So we're not chasing success. Success is supposed to chase us. All we need to do is we just need to position ourselves.
So I love this also. I do business development. I do some sales. And one of the things that I've started to believe, that I think is in alignment with what you're saying here, which is what I love about this. At least you please validate this for me. And that
Uh-huh.
is, when I talk to potential customers, when I talk to clients, I'm not for everybody. Right? You don't have to buy anything from me. Please do not. If you're not the right customer, I don't want you, as a matter of fact. But what I like to do is I say, look, there's a future that I see that could be of some value to you, right? If you'd like to join me in that journey, please come along. If it's not, that's perfectly okay to say no, right? But the people who say, yeah, I want to join you on that journey, I'm positioning myself in integrity, as opposed to saying, come on, okay, come on, buddy, you got to come along with me. If I just position myself from a place of integrity, they're joining along for the ride, and you've got them bought in at a much, much deeper level.
Right on. Right on. Because people see what you perceive, you know? They see it. If you if you're integrous, it's not something that you perceive. You just positioned yourself that you're integrous. That's all you need to do. Or kind, or you kind, or courageous, or enthusiastic. They're gonna buy enthusiasm. They're not gonna buy book from me. They're gonna buy enthusiasm that I'm teaching. I'm explaining something, but it's not book. It's enthusiasm, for example, that I have. People see that, for example, or they see that you are kind person, Binay. I like you. I mean, I like how you speak, and I would buy something from you, just because of you, just because of you, not because you have that product. Who cares about that product? Yes, deep down, nobody cares about product, because you gotta understand human nature. Once you understand human nature, that's all. It's easy. It becomes easy. And one more time, again, look at the appearances. If you're after appearances, it's wrong. No, you got to look inside. So all we need, we got to look inside, and then it will manifest automatically. So success, one way or the other, you will see it's automatic. It's automatic how we positioned ourselves. It's not something we can buy. You can't buy success. You are success. You are success. I'm buying success because you are a success. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we can't buy those people on the top. That's not possible because they're not for sale.
That's right. That's right. This is interesting. I will tell you, and Shofu, I hope this has kind of helped. It sounds like it from the comments, but I hope this has given you a perspective that has added some value for you. I'll tell you a personal piece for me that I think the end point I arrived at is for a long time I run a company and the CEO of the company, and for a long time I didn't want to talk about that as my title. Felt like I was just boasting. The fact of the matter is, doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. It just is. And for the longest time, I battled with this idea of arrogance versus confidence until someone kind of laid out for me the idea that the difference between arrogance and confidence is self worth. The confident person is not trying to convince everyone that they're great. The person that has high self worth is not for sale.
Yeah.
To your point, right? They know where they stand. You can say whatever you like about them. They're like, it's interesting. And
Yes,
that's about
I agree with 100%. Absolutely, because it's that inner confidence that we're buying something, or we want to be around those guys who are confident, 100%. They know what's gonna happen. I mean, they don't know what's gonna happen, but they are confident in what they do because they're masters of it, and we want to be around those people, right?
yeah,
Because they know what they do.
yeah,
It's
that's
that
right.
simple. But what is that they know? There's inner confidence. What we like about them. We are attracted to the inner confidence
Yeah,
because somehow they can connect that confidence from one A point to B. They can connect it, and we can, and they can.
yeah. So what I love about this is, so my poor children, as young as they are, I'm constantly talking to them about these kind of things because I want to give them the tools to do this earlier on, right? Because also as children, there is that purity of thought and emotion, and we as a society tend to beat it out of them as they become adults. We learn it out of them. And one of the things that I've talked to them about, this idea of arrogance versus confidence, is that the arrogant man or woman does not ask many questions. They understand. They're trying to show, I understand. The confident person will ask 10,000 questions because they're always inspecting their emotions, right? How do I feel about this? What is that right? Do I agree with them? Do I disagree? And it's perfectly okay to be in agreement or disagreement with it. Neither is right. It just simply is. I think I'm saying I am agreement with you. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yes, that's right. That's right. That's how you got it. I mean, we talk about positioning ourselves. We talk about feelings and how we can set aside them, right? So, and we talked about humanness and human qualities, how to get them. They're here. We're not reaching them. They're within us.
Yeah. So I am still a kid at heart, or at least I'm becoming more and more a kid at heart. And in doing so, I have always loved stories. So, Adam, tell me a story. Tell me a story of how this has either personally affected you, kind of in where something started and how did it end, or something that you have seen throughout the course of writing your book or finishing your book or after your book. Tell me some stories as to how you've seen this manifest in the real world.
Again, in my 20s, I got a stunning phenomena, I would say realization, and a God peace took over me completely. So I was in a state of peace, infinite, in an infinite space. The problem is I can't describe it. There's no description. There's no. I can't label those things. You gotta be there and feel it, maybe. But it's not a feeling again. It wasn't a body. It's beyond. That's why it's beyond feelings. That's why I called it. It's beyond feelings. You know. And the problem was that I couldn't share my story to anyone. I mean, because that was weird. That was bizarre at the time, I guess. They wouldn't understand me. They would say that you're crazy. What are you talking about? Where do you got that from? And I started reading thousands of books, psychology, spiritual books, and I found those same phenomena that I got. Same thing. I mean, so, but again, what I like, I wanted to experiment. Now I got all that idea, the knowledge from the book, right? So I wanted to experiment how it works. For example, how consciousness works. What's awareness? What is mind? So all those things led me to write a book. So in the book I got many exercises that you can experiment yourself and see for yourself how it works. So this is really practical to go right into that.
So
That's my story.
when someone starts to look at your book, that's what they'll start to find is because the question that was coming up for me, and I think you've answered that is this something that all people can understand, right? Is this all something that all people can experience? And I think what I'm hearing is that's part of what you're doing in the book is taking them to that journey where they can find that unlock, that release, that beyond
Yes,
feeling.
but the problem is it depends. It depends on the consciousness level of the person. For example, if you're suffering, you're struggling, those things maybe you can't relate those things. This is personal. It's not really. It's for all, but at the same time, it really depends on your lifestyle. If you're busy and I don't think you can relate to that. I mean, if you pay a mortgage or something, you would say that, what are you talking about? What beyond feeling? I got a mortgage to pay. I got a job to do. But they don't understand that this is not about mortgage or a job. First of all, you have to discover inner wells of yours.
Well, let me take an attempt at how I see it. I actually just put a post out a little earlier today on LinkedIn, and I call it the mountain of knowledge, right? And it starts with institutional knowledge and what I call historical knowledge, this stuff that you learn from books, and we all start there, right? We go to first grade, 12th grade, university, whatever. And that is all the things. That's the foundational things, and that's where you start to learn things that have come from the past events, right? Then you start to get more interest, at least for me. I started getting more interested in people and understanding about people. So I started taking assessments, Enneagrams and Myers-Briggs type indicators and all these things to learn more about how others potentially perceive me. But I still wasn't at the top of that mountain yet. And what I have realized for myself is that self-awareness of myself is actually the most supreme knowledge. Once I get to understand where I come from and what unique value I can bring to the table to elicit the thoughts and the conversations that we're having here with yourself, Adam, and Shofu, that is some of the capabilities that I bring to the table. And I love it because I'm good at it. It comes
Awesome.
natural to me,
You
right?
got it.
So I think what I'm hearing is for people who start to realize I want to start my journey up to the top of that knowledge mountain, if you will, right? I call it IQ at the fundamental level, the institutional learning. EQ is understanding other people. And I call it LQ, leadership quotient. Everyone's got a leader built. But then if they want to start to get to that higher level, that might be when they need to start to look to your book for guidance. Is that a good
Yes.
way to put that?
Yes, I agree with you. That would be a way um, to finding again the inner, to discover inner wells, because that starts from inside, not the outside. So there's the power in us, not out there. The problem is that's the big misconception, that the people think that it's out there, something is out there. But again, when you don't see it, well, that's why what you're saying is very important. You got to be self-aware what's going on around you, around yourself, and then you will start seeing out there what's going on out there. But first, you set intention, set aside those negative feelings, right? And start experimenting, how it works on a consciousness level, on inside our mind, because all those things, it's in mind. All those, whatever we have, constructs, all data, all feelings, all emotions, it's in the mind. And then the mind is the mind is an aspect of the consciousness, and the consciousness is the quality of the awareness. So there's, but all those things, this is all the concept, but we're not living in the concept. This is a real life. We got to experiment it. We got to experience it out, whatever we have it, and we got to enjoy it on
So
those levels.
I want to be a little more explicit in kind of how this relates to everyday life, right? And I want to give you an example here, and you tell me if this is
Okay.
in in agreement or in accordance the way you're thinking. So, as a business owner, on a daily basis, most business owners or leaders, I should say, not just business owners, but leaders, whether you're in as an individual in a role as a super mid-level supervisor or mid-level management or even senior leadership, we're all fighting fires of some sort, right? We're all reacting to external stimulus, whether it's finances, whether it's a customer, whether it's an employee, a partner. We're all reacting to something. Now, if we go through this journey that we've been talking through over the last number of minutes, if we start to inspect why is that occurring, right? Why am I getting frustrated here? Oh gosh, that partner has done this again. This employee has done that again. Or gosh, I don't have enough resources to do. Well, there's actually two ways you can look at those things. It's not a matter of suppressing those negative feelings, rather, mm, truly inspecting the facts as to what happened. All right, the organization has got limited funds. I'm saying I need 15 people to do this, and they've only given me 12. Okay. Well, what is really most important? This is an opportunity for me to focus on what is really important, not trying to get 15 people's worth of or 17 people's worth of things done, but 12 people's worth of things done. So by each one of these challenges that come to us present us an opportunity to inspect those feelings, to learn a little more about ourselves and what is really important to us so that we're positioning from that place of integrity where we're actually going to head. Does that make some sense? Does that resonate? Am I connecting the dots?
Yes, but yes, you're connecting that. The only thing you need to know that there's those of the levels that we haven't talked about it. But
Okay.
for example, there is a level of courage. So it's a hard to it's a hard to bypass, because you got to be courageous to believe in what you do, right?
Okay.
So those, for example, the level of acceptance, when you said you see that as an opportunity, first of all, You got to be on the level of acceptance. Are you
Mm.
accepting all those things? Because one way or the other, in the consciousness, again, if you have higher consciousness, you could see that you chose those things.
Yeah.
This is for a reason. It wasn't by accident. No, you chose, and that's why it's occurring. So it's occurring because you chose before somehow, maybe subconsciously, I don't know, but you did it. But you got to see, you have to accept and welcome it. Then I would say you're a very easygoing person because you're not resisting. Because uh, look, if you resist, you're not courageous. If you resist all the time, where's your courage to leave? Where? If you know, resisting all the time. No, why does that happen? I want to do this way. No, it's not. This is, the tension. That means you're in resistance. You're not agreed with something. And we know all around us, there are those people that they're uh, I would want to hang out with those people. Who would? You resisting all the time. Whatever I say, no, it's not like that. It's that way. Okay, fine. Can I say something, please? So, so if you're on the level of acceptance, then I can go wherever you want with you. I'm your companion. I can go, you
And
know,
and
on a
and
trip.
yeah,
Yes.
let me translate that, or distill that, or what I heard there. That doesn't mean, as a leader in this case, that you have to do what others suggest to you. Just because someone suggests an idea and says, "Hey, we need to go left," you say, "I think right is the right choice for us." They say, "No, no, no, we need to consider going left here." I mean, this could be any decision, right? It doesn't mean that you have to go left. It doesn't mean that you just have to accept what they tell you. It's rather, are you truly seeking to understand where they're coming from? Because they may see something that you don't. And being open and receptive, it doesn't mean you have to follow it. That's still ultimately up to
No,
you.
no, I'm not suggesting you have to
Yeah,
follow every choice
right,
exactly. So you
right.
have mind, you have intellect to distill all those things, but you're positioning yourself. You're not resisting
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the remarks, for example.
yeah.
You accept it. You will think about it, and then you will reply. I mean, that's a state of acceptance. I'm not suggesting you got to follow all those, bad decisions and bad things. No, no, no. I'm just saying that there is a level, there is a state of acceptance.
Yeah. So
There's a state of willingness, for example.
yeah.
So those things, it's a power actually. Few people realize that the real power is that those things, acceptance and willingness. Those things are very important in business, in our life.
I have got this analogy that I use all the time. I call it the nine mountains analogy. As a owner of a business, there are nine different mountains. You can label them whatever you want: finance, human resources, sales, marketing. You name those nine mountains. When I started the company, there was nobody else other than myself. So my responsibility is on all nine mountains. And if you think about it, the analogy further, there's a snowball at the top of each mountain, and there's a village. My job is to protect the village. Okay. So what am I doing? I'm running between the mountains as fast as I can to make sure that the snowball doesn't crush the village at the bottom. As I've started to bring more and more people into the company, hey, Jack, you take care of that mountain. Are you okay with that? Yeah, I'll take care of that. Fabulous. I turn and focus on eight now. Now I bring in Sally. Sally takes care of the other mountain. All right, great. I'll take care of the other seven. And I'm slowly starting to give more and more off. And what do I do? The point is not for me to start to tell Jack and Sally how to do things, rather say, Jack and Sally, what do you see? And they know the mountain better than I do, right?
Exactly. That's
And
right.
what I'm truly trying to do at that point in time is seeking to understand where they're coming from, because if they're telling me something, there's probably some true perspective there that I'm not seeing, because they see things they perceive the world in a different way than I do. They feel something that I don't. And I think that's what you're saying is give them the space to say it. That doesn't mean that I have to listen to them. Rather, are they saying something I don't know? Right? Give me the perspective that I haven't seen before. Seek to understand is what I heard.
Exactly. That's the level of acceptance. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So tell me more about the book. The book is an opportunity for people who want to truly step into that self-actualization, using Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. If you want to move into that self-actualization level, if you want to find out more about self-knowledge, it looks like the
Yes.
book is a place to start.
Yes, it's a place to start to discover how our feelings, thoughts, and emotions work within consciousness, within mind, and within awareness. So, and again, it's the techniques that I share in the book, that simple techniques of letting go of negative emotions and turn it to our benefits. You know,
Yeah.
that's the pro life. So we support life. We support life. Those are attitude. Those are that we have within us qualities. So when we support greatness, we bring forth greatness in ourselves, right? So when I support your business, for example, you're a data guy, right? So behind that, I never work with you, but you could say I would say that you're an integrity guy, for example, right? So when I support integrity in your business, right? So I bring forth that integrity in myself. So because I recognize the power of integrity, I support it, and now I see it within myself. That's the power. Look, this is the power. That's awareness. But you should experiment and see, is it working that way? Start supporting human nature, humanness, and start seeing result within ourselves. That's the book about. It's not just about awareness, but about the human qualities that's coming from heart. Mind, heart. But you should read and see for yourself. I got pretty good feedbacks on LinkedIn. People read it, and
Well,
they're
I
telling me that it's not bad.
I'd like to put that link to that book in after I put a post out here, our conversation. I'd like to put a link in the comments so people can actually
Thank
find
you.
the book themselves, so they
Thank you so
can
much. Really
find out how
appreciate it.
to join on that journey. I'll tell you, there's a organization here locally. I would say that they're a world famous organization around executive leadership, and they've got this what they call the three skills pyramid, and they have the bottom of the pyramid. The two corners are technical, and then personality are the bottom corners of the pyramid, and right in the middle is commitment, because you've got to have a commitment to it. This is talking about the intent, right? And as you go from a technical level, technical role, to more of a leadership role, where you spend your time differs, right? In a technical role, it might be 80% technical, 20% personality. But as you move towards a leadership role, it's 80% personality, 20% technical, right? And the goal of that, or the purpose for bringing that up, is if someone wants to step into their leadership, right? They want to be able to step into their innate talents and honestly, the unique gifts that they bring to the table, right? Because everyone is their genius in their own right. I sincerely believe that. If they want to do that, this book is a series of exercises and revelations that can help them find that path. That's what I heard.
Thank you so much, Binay. This is what you heard. You know, that's right. That's
Very
right.
good. Well, I feel like we've had a great conversation here. Lots of things for me to take away, and notes and things again that lifted
Yeah.
my gaze on Shofu. Thank you for participating. I hope we answered your question, and I hope you hit 1,000 deals more, 1,000% more deals than you did last time, because Adam has unlocked the secrets of the universe to you. Shofu, I wish you the best there. Thank you for participating, and Adam, thank you for sharing your
I'm
time.
I'm really enjoyed being with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Adam.
Till then, blessings, bro. Thank you so much.
That's